What? Close it. Are you good? What? You know what, Chris? Do this. What? Oh. Make sure you hit record. I know you will. Good morning, Muscatine. What's up, Freddie? We have actually a perfectly timed donation. How are you, Mr. Ortiz?
Good.
You're live, buddy. Good to see you, bro.
Perfect.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Perfect, no problem.
Yep. What are you up to?
Nothing. Just work.
Of course. Say hi to Muscatine, everybody. Freddie Ortiz, the legend, the one and only.
That's me.
Good to see you, bud.
Well, same here. Thank
Yep.
you.
Have a good one. Am I going to make it? Yeah, we'll set it right there. So as you can see, we're freezing for food still, folks. We got a little bit different show for you today. It's going to be short. It's going to be sweet. I try not to do this very often. I had a couple of things come across my desk over the last couple of days that connected for me in a way that I wanted to share. Obviously we had Jingle and Mingle last week. Thank you to everybody that helped us put that on. Everybody that came down. I think everybody had a lot of fun. And one of the pieces about that is we put out a survey. And one of the comments that comes in every year, and not very often, or it comes in every year, but not many people say it is, they talk about the number of kids that are down there running around, quote unquote, unsupervised, and how that makes it bad. I always kind of think, it's middle schoolers being middle schoolers, and that's okay, because we're all middle schoolers once. So we try and have stuff to do, but you know what, they are what they are, and we were all there once. So I try and have a little grace and just handle it, right? And the other thing that I heard over the weekend, first of the week, was that a gentleman passed away who has been a huge part of this community for a long time, and that's Jim Sturms. And I'm guessing some of you are probably wondering, what does a Jingle and Mingle survey and Jim Sturms have in common? And a lot more than you would think. Jim, I don't even know what to say about him. He was an amazing man. Faced a lot of challenges growing up medically, and I think many would say it made him who he was, he was who he was. That was just a small part of it. But it definitely framed his outlook on life, I think. I met Jim when I was in 7th grade. They built the new Y here in town. He was the executive director. He was one of the champions of that project. He'd already helped build 2 others. He's from Muscatine, born and raised, graduated from here, went to MCC. Coincidentally, the same path I went down later. And Jim was my mom's boss. Well, I mean, my mom's boss's boss, or I don't know what. He was the executive director. My mom worked at the front desk before the Y even actually opened to the public. And so in 7th grade, I spent a lot of time out at the Y. I was one of those unsupervised kids. Now, granted, my mom was in the building, but I was running around. And I was at the Y this morning, getting ready to go play racquetball. I was sitting in my locker. And Jim actually, after he retired, he still came in and swam, and he came in and just lit the place up. And I was lucky enough that my locker, when we came back to town, was in the same bank as his. And so often as I was leaving, he would be coming in, and he always had a smile on his face. Through all the challenges he faced in his life, I never saw it. and you can argue whether you should let people see your pain and struggles or not. But I know that affected me a lot, and I didn't even know it at the time. When our daughter faced a lot of serious health challenges, I would often reference Jim, not even really thinking about it, and a lot of the struggles that he faced. And he always faced it with a smile, and it informed how we tried to approach it as a family. And, the thought that I had was, I was really lucky. I had great parents. I had a great home. I have absolutely nothing to complain about. But, as a middle schooler, you often don't listen to your parents, regardless of what they say or how wise they may be. And Jim always had time for me. He always knew what was going on in my life. Even years later, he just had this way of making everybody feel special. And it hit me as I was sitting there that I was lucky that I met him at that age, because that was the exact age that the people were talking about, the kids down at the stroll. And I hope, if nothing else today, it makes you think about, A, kids like that, B, maybe call Lindsay out at Big Brothers Big Sisters, out at the Y, and be a part of a kid's life, because, I'm not going to say Jim was like a full big brother or anything like that, but he led by example. And he led by example. He was part of Rotary. You couldn't count the number of projects he was a part of in this community. And his family continues that. So, again, I'm not super good at this. I didn't completely think this through. I realized I'm not going to be able to be at his visitation or funeral services, because we'll be out here freezing for food and at the high school for the Muskies. And I wanted to take a moment and thank Jim for being who he was, and hope Muscatine realizes how lucky we were to have him, and that if we all carry just a little bit of what Jim brought to this community with us into the future, we'll be a lot better place. Mrs. Sturms, Becky, our thoughts and prayers are with you and the entire family. Again, take a minute, find a kid, be a light in their life. If you're facing adversity, you don't have to hide it. You can ask for help. Try and do it with a smile on your face. It'll make you feel better, if nothing else. I can speak from experience on that, from watching what Jim did. So, that's enough of that. Jim, thank you. I'm going to close with, we stand out here freezing for food. We have a semi-load coming. We have a $10,000 match that I know will hit. Just this morning, I'll be able to get pictures of this for you later. We had 2 young girls bringing bags and bags of food in that they got to go help pick out earlier this morning. And so this community is great. And it's because of people like Jim. There's hundreds of others in this community. There's no way we could recognize them all. But just be thankful that you live in this community, because as much as, we're not perfect, but we're pretty damn good. So with that, I'll sign off. We'll be out here all day freezing for food. Bring us whatever you can, if you can. And if not, that's okay. Just help try and put a smile on somebody's face today. So it's going to be hard, but try and go attack the rest of the day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Have a good one, Muscatine.